What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 17th day of September in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The criminal trial into the alleged election fraud case has been adjourned for another 45 days as the presiding magistrate, Lerone Daly, remains on leave. The trial was expected to restart today, following the end of a 30-day sick leave which was granted to the magistrate. However, the attorneys in the case were informed this morning that the magistrate is still ill and remains on leave. In the absence of Magistrate Daly, Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty adjourned the case to the 31st of October. The acting chief magistrate indicated that if Magistrate Daly is still unwell on the 31st of October, the court may have to take submissions on the trial and have it assigned to another magistrate. The trial into the alleged attempt to commit fraud during the 2020 elections commenced back in July. However, it was adjourned after just 3 days as the prosecution raised repeated concerns over the omission of certain evidence that were deemed inadmissible by the city magistrate. The prosecution had also complained bitterly about the number of objections raised by the defense attorneys. The trial was then delayed until mid-September as the magistrate proceeded on medical leave. Only 2 witnesses have testified before the court since the commencement of the trial, with the testimony of the second witness still to be completed. The defendants in the matter are former Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield, former Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers, and former Region 4 Returning Officer Clement Mingo, along with Opposition Member of Parliament Valda Lawrence, PNC Reform Member Carol Smith-Joseph, and election officers Shafern February, Enrique Leven, Denise Bob Cummings, and Michelle Miller. Together, the 9 accused are facing 19 conspiracy charges relating to an alleged attempt to declare fraudulent results during the course of the 2020 elections. They have all declared their innocence of the charges. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step or one promise. One thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Are you ready to elevate your career with a world-class education from the comfort of your home? The University of Excellence Management in Business, UEMB, Guyana's premier accredited and recognized tertiary institution, invites you to join one or more of our comprehensive 145-degree programs. Registration is now open for our next intake on September 9 and every 2 months thereafter. Enroll now and secure a 50% scholarship. Choose from an ABA, BBA, MBA, MPM, EMBA, EMPM, and LLM degrees, available in 14 specializations. Whether you hold an undergraduate degree, a diploma, or relevant professional qualifications, apply. We are an accredited degree-granting tertiary institution in Guyana. Our programs are also equivalent to a USA Regional Accredited degree. Submit your completed application form, proof of entrance qualification, and any form of ID. For more details, visit our administrative office in the Critchlow Labour College, front building, Wolford Avenue, or call 225-1395, 225-1397-9, 618-3434, and 681-3434. Progressing to a degree is as easy as ABC with UEMB. Deal with the best and forget the rest.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Yes.
Start packing this, yeah?
I ain't start packing yet. Usually I pack a couple hours before and I go. Drive. I got my phone, I got my keys, my charger, my
Procrastinating planning for the future? Well, that's never a good idea. Let Demerara Mutual and Demerara Fire and General help you get started with planning for your future today. I'm with Dem.
Hi, I'm Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Join us at the 2nd Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference to be held in Guyana on October 8 to 9, 2024 at the Pegasus Suites and Corporate Center. Under the theme Financing for Success, where passion, prosperity, and people align, we will explore the latest trends and opportunities in wealth creation and economic development. This two-day event promises to be engaging, enlightening, and game-changing. To register to attend, visit www.jamstockex.com or call 876-967-3271. Come and make the right connections.
Economist and former Finance Minister Winston Jordan has urged the government to come clean on a number of issues, specifically relating to the financing and repayment on some aspects of the gas-to-energy project, suggesting that the government might have already committed its share of future oil resources to repay ExxonMobil for the pipeline aspect of the project. The laying of the pipeline is expected to be completed by the end of this year, to the tune of almost $1 billion. The pipeline is a critical component of the project, which is being funded by the oil company and will be repaid by Guyana via annual payments of $55 million for 20 years. But among other things, the former finance minister wants to know why is the amount not listed in the country's debt profile, among other things.
If this is a loan, why doesn't it appear in the debt profile of the country? Why isn't that loan? How much is the loan? Do we know how much is the loan? We don't know. What are the terms of this loan? We don't know. We have not seen an agreement for this loan.
Who owns the pipeline?
Who owns the pipeline? The thing is here, the law, the External Loans Act says all loans that have been concluded by the government should be brought to the parliament as soon as possible thereafter. This has been going on for such a long time, to such an extent that they have now completed the pipeline.
Mr. Jordan said if the government is not careful, the project could be a tragedy in the making. He believes that the agreement with ExxonMobil should have been taken to the National Assembly for scrutiny. He said the issue is much more serious than simply repaying, but it can also affect the country's accounting arrangements.
Because these are stuff that are taking place within our country and going to affect the accounts. It's going to affect the external accounts because foreign currency is involved, loans are involved, foreign currency repayment is involved. It's going to affect our financial aspect. It's going to affect the monies going into the natural resource fund, because the monies that will be going into the natural resource fund will be reduced by the amount of the repayment.
Jordan also said if the government has committed to repaying ExxonMobil from the country's future share of oil revenues, it will be illegal, since the Natural Resources Act prohibits such an arrangement.
it seems implicitly that the government has agreed with Exxon that they can take as part repayment from our share, our future share, monies to repay for the loan that they give to the pipeline. I'm asking some legal people, in the context of because I know they're going to be difficult to give me an answer because we have not seen the agreement in relation to the pipeline, to the financing of the pipeline.
And the former finance minister also expressed worry over the country's rising local and external debt, saying that the government appears to be on a borrowing and spending spree, which will ultimately cost the taxpayers of the country. One High Court judge has ordered the possession of 3 properties at Peters Hall along the east bank of the Demerara to the Guyana government, while another High Court judge has blocked the government from taking possession of some other properties until the completion of compensation. The 3 properties that have been ordered to the possession of the Guyana government are among several properties that have been compulsory acquired by the government to make way for the new Demerara River Bridge. In granting the possession of 3 properties to the government, High Court Judge Navindra Singh also ordered that the owners of the properties deliver possession to the government by the 20th of September. A total of 50 properties have been compulsory acquired by the government for the bridge project, and the vesting of the properties were completed several months ago. While most of the property owners accepted the government's financial offer for the properties, 13 of them refused, prompting the government to move to the court to be granted full possession and for market value of the properties to be determined. In each of the 3 cases before him, Justice Navindra Singh ordered less compensation to be paid for the properties than the compensation that the state was offering. In the separate cases before her, Justice Jacqueline Josiah Graham ruled that while the Constitution allows for property acquisition, it also mandates protection of individual rights via adequate compensation. The judge said full compensation has to be determined first and become payable before issues of immediate possession arises. She also said it cannot be inferred that the government has power when legislation provision is clear that the vesting of a property is subject to compensation paid. The judge ruled that the Attorney General's request for immediate possession of the properties before compensation is settled is contrary to the law. The compensation package that was offered by the government included house lots with or without a house, commercial lands along with monetary compensation, and costs associated with moving, and in some cases rental, where a house was not available. There are still a number of other cases before the court. 3 teenagers have been arrested over the murder of a 24-year-old man at Kairuni along the Suzdijk-Linden Highway. The dead man has been identified as 24-year-old Harry Brown from the same community. A police report stated that Brown was in the company of a friend at the Heritage Month celebrations in the Kairuni village early on Sunday morning when a fight broke out between a group of young men. An eyewitness said Brown intervened in the fight in an effort to break it up and separate the persons fighting. And it was then that he was attacked by a 15-year-old who was involved in the fight and 2 others. The police said the peacemaker was stabbed to the abdomen and his right hand. 2 other persons were also stabbed to their bodies. They were all rushed to the hospital, where the 24-year-old peacemaker was pronounced dead, while the other injured persons were admitted with their injuries. The police said its investigations of the deadly incident led to the village of Mablissa, along the same Suzdijk-Linden Highway, where the 3 teenage suspects were arrested. The teens ages 15, 17, and 19 all remain in police custody.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Types of transactions. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were last registered. apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered could request that their photographs be retaken if the quality of the photographs on their ID cards is unacceptable. Collect their new ID cards if they have not done so as yet. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GECOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GECOM website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
The East Bank Demerara home of the mother of rights activist Melissa Atwell, also known as Melly Mel, was ransacked and searched by a party of police officers this afternoon, who claimed that they had a warrant to search the home for drugs. They did not leave a copy of the apparent warrant or allow the occupants of the home to see it. The search operation has left Atwell's mother and grandmother, who live at the property with other relatives, traumatized. Melly Mel, who lives in the US, has been using her social media platform to highlight and reveal widespread cases of alleged corruption within the Guyana police force and the government of Guyana. Many of the revelations on her social media platform have led to investigations and calls for international inquiries into the corruption claims that have swamped the current government and the police force. This evening, police investigators here in Georgetown are continuing their probe into the execution-style killing of mechanic Troy Rodriguez. Rodriguez was gunned down on Friday night in the East Randall community at around 7:30. According to reports, Rodriguez and a friend had just crossed a bridge when they were cornered by two men on motorcycles. Rodriguez and his friend ran in two different directions, but the armed men pursued Rodriguez, shooting him multiple times to his body. The 24-year-old man collapsed on the roadway, where he died as emergency services were summoned. Rodriguez was known to law enforcement and had previous brushes with the law. A few months ago, he was named as a suspect in a robbery case. Investigations into his murder are ongoing tonight. The Office of Professional Responsibility of the Guyana Police Force has launched an investigation into the shooting of a bystander during a police pursuit of two men on Saturday morning. The bystander, 27-year-old Castle nurse, was shot to his right leg and has been listed as being in a stable condition. In a statement this past weekend, the Guyana Police Force explained that at around 1:50 on Saturday morning, a police patrol observed two men on motorcycles in the border market area acting in a suspicious manner. The police claimed that as the police ranks attempted to confront the men sped off on their motorcycles along Robb Street. The police report said the ranks gave chase, but one of the motorcycle riding men opened fire on the police patrol, prompting a response by one of the police ranks, who fired several shots behind the two men as his patrol was chasing after them. During the reported exchange of gunfire, businessman Cassell Nurse, who was standing near to his car outside a Robb Street nightclub, was hit to his right leg. The police said the injured man was taken to the Georgetown Hospital for medical treatment. The two men on the motorcycles that the ranks were pursuing managed to escape. 34-year-old sawmill operator James Lord was charged and remanded to jail today for the murder of his former reputed wife. He is accused of stabbing 29-year-old Alexis Roxanne Harris to death on the 8th of September. In court today, the murder accused was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge and was immediately remanded to jail. The matter will continue on the 8th of October. A police report of the murder incident last week revealed that the victim had moved out of the family's Suze-Linden Highway home with her children and had taken up residence at the home of a sister. She was living at the sister for the past 2 months. The police report stated that the man turned up at the house on Sunday the 8th of September to visit his children and became angry when he saw the ex-wife talking on her phone. He reportedly attacked the woman after hitting the phone out of her hands. As she attempted to escape, it is alleged that he chased after her and repeatedly stabbed her. She collapsed in a drain and died. The man also attacked a nephew who attempted to intervene. The nephew survived his injuries. The murder accused was later arrested by the police and self-inflicted stab wounds were noticed on his body. He was briefly hospitalized.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit the website www.gecom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, in Cuba, the government has slashed by a quarter the weight of its subsidized ration of daily bread, the latest shortage to strain a decades-old subsidy scheme created by the late Fidel Castro. The bread, one of a handful of still subsidized basic food products in Cuba, will be reduced from 80 grams to 60 grams, or approximately the weight of an average cookie or a small bar of soap. Its price too was slightly reduced to just under 1 peso. Still, many Cubans who earn around $15 per month can scarcely afford to shop for more expensive bread on the private market, leaving them with few alternatives. Cuba last week said it had run short of the wheat flour it needs to produce the bread, a predicament the government blames on the U.S. trade embargo. Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa has said he wants to change his country's constitution to allow the presence of foreign military bases. He made the proposal 15 years after the last U.S. soldiers left the base of Manta on Ecuador's Pacific coast and returned it to the Ecuadorian military. President Noboa argues that Ecuador needs foreign military help to fight transnational crime gangs, which are using the country as a major transit route for drugs smuggled from South America to Europe and the US. The 36-year-old leader declared war on the gangs back in January, but gang-related violence continues to blight cities such as Manta, Duran, and Guayaquil. Noboa made the announcement in a video recorded at the Manta base, which was uploaded on X, the site formerly known as Twitter. In it, he criticizes the decision taken by the then President Rafael Correa in 2008 to not only not renew the accord under which the U.S. had leased the Manta base, but also to enshrine a ban on any foreign military presence in the Constitution. And finally tonight, international news. The United States has dismissed claims by Venezuela that the CIA plotted to assassinate President Nicolas Maduro and other top officials. 3 U.S. citizens, 2 Spaniards and 1 Czech national have been arrested on suspicion of plotting to destabilize the country, the Venezuelan Interior Minister said. Calling the detainees mercenaries, the Interior Minister of Venezuela claimed that the CIA was leading the operation and that hundreds of weapons had been seized. The U.S. has rejected the claims as completely false. The claims came after Washington placed 16 senior Venezuelan government officials under sanctions. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.